everybody, my name's Carrie and thank you so much for stopping by and coming to hang out with me for a little bit. Today is Wednesday, December 5th, 2018. I am coming to you from just outside of Portland, Oregon, and it's Christmas time. I got my little Christmas tree up. I haven't put any little ornaments on it yet. And I got my Christmas quilt out. I did talk about that Christmas quilt back on episode 23 if you want more information about it. It was one that my friends, my quilting friends all made as a swap kind of a thing. So if you want to hear the story about it, go back and you can hear about it back then. So when did I last record? I think I've had Thanksgiving since then, right? November 17th, yeah. Okay, so we've had Thanksgiving, which was fun. I put some pictures in the beginning of, I had my folks over here and Robert and Michael, and we had our own little Thanksgiving dinner. And we played the game Speak Out, where you put the mouthpiece things in your mouth. And I didn't think my parents were going to play it. I thought, well, at least they'll just watch. And they played it, and it was hysterical. We had so much fun. It was just really a fun thing before they headed south. So that was a really good day. Ate lots of food and, you know, all that typical stuff. But I've been making stuff, and I thought I'd hop on here and kind of share what's been going on. I have an idea, a Christmas gift idea, if anybody's interested, and just some updates on what I'm working on. Last episode, I realized when I was done and I went to edit it that I never even had show notes. So I was really just flying by the seat of my pants. So today I have show notes. Not that it makes any difference, because I'll sometimes forget to even mention what I've written down or what's right in front of me. But it's a good start. So Millie's sitting in the window looking, keeping watch. She had her appointment and had to have a few teeth removed, which was a hard recovery for her. That took a little while. Last couple days, she seems like she's been feeling back to normal. I'm still softening up her food just because the poor girl doesn't have very many teeth. But she seems like she's getting back to normal, which is good, because it wasn't good for a little bit. But she's good. We're good. Everybody's good. And the sun's out. And let's get on with it. I had posted on Instagram about that I was making lip balms, and I had a couple people say, like, how do you do that? It's you know, you're so talented because you can do that. And it's super easy, and I thought I'd give you the wheres and hows and all that kind of stuff. So I can't see anything because it's all just white, but it's a lip balm that I make myself. But it's not as hard as you think. I started making my own lip balm this way 4 years ago, something like that. And all I do is I get on brambleberry.com, whoa, and I buy their lip balm base. This is the 16 ounce, I think, and it is a coconut oil base. It's got coconut oil, sweet almond oil, avocado oil, and beeswax is all that's in it. And they've already put together the right mixture. All I have to do is heat this up in my microwave, and about 8 liquid ounces. So once it's dissolved enough or melted enough that I can get about 8 ounces, makes about 50 tubes. So I do that. I do use a mint flavoring that I got on Brambleberry. And you can actually, from them, you can even get colorants to put in it if you want. I leave it white because I personally don't want a colorant in it. And I give it to men and women, and so it would be weird if you gave a guy like pink or something. And it's easier to just make them all the same. So I'll put a link to that shop down in the description box below. But one of the things that I did this year, which made it so much easier, is I got this tray. And it's just, this is the tray. It's kind of goopy, so I have it in a bag. So, simple tray. But the holes fit the tubes of, the balm tubes, whatever you want to call them. They just stick on the bottom. And then you pour it once you've liquefied, and then I've added my mint or whatever. I just pour it in there. It sets up real fast. And so in the past, I've had problems with it because I would melt it and then I'd go to pour it and it starts to solidify in my measuring cup that I'm pouring it with, and I'd have to remelt it. And then you got to get it in a little tube, and then it makes a mess, and I try and clean it up. And because I've gotten oil on the outside of it, then my labels don't stick to it. And it's just has been a real challenge. So this year I got this on Amazon. I think it was like 15 bucks. Came with the 50 tubes and the tray and that little scraper thing. So once you pour it, you scrape that to make the tops of the lip balms flat. Let it sit, and then you pull them all off, put the caps all on, and you're good to go. It is the most simple thing to do, but people love it. I've been using this lip balm, like I said, for 4-ish years or so. And it's all like good ingredients, doesn't have any chemicals or anything like that in it. So people love it. So then I just make labels, and have played around with some labels, and I just get Avery labels is what I've used. Avery makes all kinds of like envelope labels and packing labels and whatever. And I bought some. These they're a square. And if you get on Avery's website, you can design your own label. You can have it say whatever. You can choose different backgrounds or whatever. So I just keep it simple. We do call this lip shit. So my labels do say lip shit. I do make some that just say lip balm in case there's people that are sensitive to the fact that it has a curse word. I don't know. To me, that's not a curse word, but some people feel like it is. So it says lip balm, and if you have little kids, I don't want to offend anybody, but that's it. And like super easy, and it feels really good, and it's really nice, and makes a really nice gift. So I made a bunch of those. So everybody's getting some lip shit. Like I was teasing on Instagram. It's kind of like Oprah, like you get a lip shit and you get a lip shit. Everybody gets a lip shit. And they like it. They look forward to it. They're like, I'm running out. So it's always good to make about 50 because once you give it to people, they'll want more. So that's a really good gift idea. Another thing I'm doing for the gals at work is I'm making lotion bars. And I forgot to bring that stuff up. Anyway, it's not a big deal. I bought some soap molds. They're silicone soap molds that I got on Amazon. And I actually make the mixture myself, and I've played with the formula quite a bit to get the texture that I like. The texture, I guess. And so if you don't know what it is, it's like, you know what? Let me just go get it. I'll go get one. Thought I had myself all together, but clearly I didn't. So a lotion bar is basically this. It is solidified oils you rub between your hands, and then you put it on, and it makes your hands feel really soft. Jim gets really, really dry hands because of the solvents and stuff that he uses at work. And if he puts this, he ends up getting like splits and stuff in his hands. And so if he puts this on his hands at night, it really, really helps him. Otherwise, his hands always feel like sandpaper. And once he starts using this, they soften right up. So this is a soap mold. It is silicone, so it's flexible. Probably a couple inches across. I got it on Amazon. Most of my supplies I got on Amazon. I bought these little tins on Amazon because it fit my lotion bars pretty well. So what I put in mine is I put a combination of coconut oil, cocoa butter, shea butter, lanolin, beeswax. I think that was it. And then I put essential oils in for smell. I can't really give you a recipe because I've played around with it to the point where I know how much exactly to make to fill this particular mold. And I've tweaked it. And this year I tweaked it a little bit by adding lanolin to it. So I started off just looking on Pinterest for lotion bars, but these are really nice. So I'm going to make these I have made them to give to the gals at work. They'll get some lip shit and call it a day. So anyway, those are just a couple of fun ideas that that you might want to try. So aside from making all that kind of stuff, I have worked on the Up North quilt, and that's the one with the trees and the trailer that I've talked about in previous episodes. I've got all my words done. I've got all my columns put together, and then it was time to figure out whether I wanted my words on the top or on the bottom. So I did, I was going to show you. I had talked about this particular fabric not having enough contrast once you made a letter, and you can see that it really didn't show up. So I didn't use this fabric, and it's all paper piece, which means you actually have a piece of paper with the printed pattern on it, and you actually sew through the paper and sew the piece. Once it's all done, all put together, you rip the paper off and you're good to go. So I'm going to put some pictures in here. I've laid it out showing it with the words on the top, and then I laid it out showing what the words look like on the bottom, and I like it better with the words on the bottom. I don't know why, just to me I feel like it looks better. There's a little bit more space because of the way the letters are formed with the tall, like the tall parts. I don't know how else to say that, but there's only a couple letters that go up and there's more letters that go down. And so there's more space at the top, and it kind of draws your attention to the trailer. And so I'm going to put it together with the words on the bottom. So it's just a matter of making some strips to connect that, and then put borders around it, and then it's done. And then I got to try and figure out how to quilt it. So I'm just going to do an all over design. I'm not custom quilting it. And right now it's like, what color do I use? Because whatever color I use has to go across all of it. So I'm thinking of a shade of green, because that'll go over the trees fine. You probably won't see it too much on the gray, and it should look okay going over the trailer. So it'll be some shade of green. I've got lots of different shades of green from doing long arming as a business. So the letters, like I had talked about before, came from Quilt Talk, which is a book by Sam Hunter. So it was real easy once I got going. So that, it's not going to get done for Christmas. And it's not meant to be a Christmas gift. It was just she just asked me to make it. My friend asked me to make it. And so it's not for anything specific. So I've got time. I need to make sure I get Christmas handled first. And which I think I'm pretty well there, except I thought, like yesterday, I thought, what if I gave everybody at work some fingerless gloves, fingerless mitts to go with the hand stuff? And Jim's like, don't do it. You'll just make yourself crazy. Save it for next year. I'm like, but wouldn't that be a good gift? I don't know. I don't know the people at work that well to even know like what their favorite color is or anything like that. So I think I'll wait till next year. I kind of want to do it though, but I don't think I will. So anyway, that's kind of on hold right now probably till after Christmas. I may work on it over Christmas break, because I do have like a couple weeks off over Christmas because there's no school. So that'll be good. I know something I got. So it was the Black Friday. Black Friday's not even a thing anymore. Have you all noticed that Black Friday is like a month-long event? Which doesn't make it Black Friday. It just makes it a holiday sale. Yeah. Anyway, I had a book on my wish list on Amazon for a while. And I thought, I just put it on wish list so that if anybody happens to want to buy me a gift, like my husband or somebody, they'll know what they can get me. So I wanted this Vogue knitting book. It's the ultimate knitting book. And I got a little message from Amazon saying, oh, it's on a lightning deal now. It's only 19 something. And I was like, okay, Jim, just so you know that this book's on my wish list. I really, really want it. And it's, on this really great price. And he goes, just get it. So I did. And so it doesn't count as a Christmas present, but It's an amazing book. So if you can get this, or you have a knitter person in your life that you want to buy a gift for, or you need to hint to somebody to get you a gift, this book is really good. I have only been able to kind of flip through it because I was saving it in case he said, oh, let me wrap that. And yeah, that's not going to happen. So I get to play with it, but it shows all different kinds of shapes. It shows how, just shows you how to do everything. It really is an ultimate book. So super great by 19 whatever dollars, because it's normally a $40 book. So I got it for a little less than half price. Amazon Prime. I didn't have to pay for shipping. I was happy. So, okay, good. And we're moving down the list. We're getting there. You know what? I was setting up and I went to sit in my regular chair that I've had probably 20 years or more. And I think I blew the hydraulics in it finally, because I sat in it and it was just like I deflated a tire. I was just like, and it won't poof back up again. So my chair is dead. Wah, wah. I have been working on some stuff. One of the things is a pretty big, almost FO. It's almost there. So I'm kind of considering it a finished object because I don't really have that much more to go. So I'm going to show it to you, but I got to stand up because it's pretty big. Do you guys remember the blanket I'm going to make for Robert and Michael? It's done. Look at that. This sucker is huge. It's a really good sized lap quilt. It's about 6 feet long right now, and it's probably close to 4 feet wide or more. Probably more than that. It's probably more than 48 inches. And it's heavy. This sucker's heavy. It's going to be like one of those gravity blankets. Now I'm getting tangled up. Okay, there we go. So I finished. I went until I ran out of yarn. I have one more skein of the gray. So I'm going to take that skein and I'm just going to go around with single crochet to just kind of border it. I don't know if it really needs it, but I have the yarn. I might as well use it. And I think it'll, like when I first started, because I'm not really a crocheter, I just have a little bit of interest. And so that'll even that up. And so yeah, I'm going to give that to him for Christmas. I had intentioned to, I started that last year, probably a little over a year ago, about a year ago. And I was going to give it to him as a housewarming present. And they moved into their house in February. And then I didn't have it done in time. And then it started to get big and the weather started to get warm and I didn't want it on my lap. So I put it away. And so I finally dug it out, and it was a beast because I'd get to the edge of the row and then you got to flip the blanket over. Well, it's heavy. So it's done. Well, it's almost done. I have to weave in the ends and just like I said, go around probably a couple times. I don't know. I'll just do it till I run out of yarn. So that one's done. I made that with Bernat blanket, which is kind of a chenille type of a yarn. And I'll put on the bottom here what size hook, because I don't remember. It was this, actually, it was the size they recommended, which was an L. Pretty sure that's what I did. No, I found a pattern. Basically, I alternated double crochets and single crochets. So single, double, single, double, single, double. And then on top of the doubles, I did a single. And on top of the singles, I did a double. And so it gives it kind of a knobby look. I probably could have used a little bit bigger hook because it made it pretty dense. But I think Michael's really going to like it. I think it's going to be too warm for Robert because he runs warm like I do. But Michael doesn't. And I think actually Michael might even like the weight of it. So even though it's for the both of them, I think Michael's going to like it better. But that's okay. Whatever. I don't really care. As long as they appreciate it and like it. So I started another project. I had mentioned on Instagram, my lovely friend Michelle graced me with a Advent mini that she did herself. Mini Advent mini calendar. It's an Advent calendar with minis. So it's really fun. It's really fun to get them. I can't afford to get you know, buy it from a dyer. So it's nice to have. It's nice to have the minis. And so I'm using some that I opened from her, and then I'm using some that I've just, most of my minis are minis that were given to me. So it's all coming from friends. Whether it's right from the calendar or not, because I can't do true scrappy where you just pick and whatever happens, happens. I'm doing that with my corner to corner blanket that I'm using minis and stuff. I don't really care because it's going to be a blanket and who really cares. But this is something that I'm going to wear. So I want it to be controlled scrappy, I guess. Like I can't put a color next to another color that doesn't really go or help transition, you know, if I need a color that helps transition to another color. So, you know, I've got choices. So Shara of Shara Made came out with this pattern called the Vega Wrap, and it's came out meant to be used with your minis. You can also just make it out of whatever yarn you want, obviously, but each ripple uses about 5 grams of yarn. So she made it so that you get these minis, whether it's a 5 gram mini, 10 gram. If you get a 10 gram, then you can do 2 stripes. So I'm alternating every stripe. It has an I-cord edging, which is really nice because then I just slip the yarn, oh crap, what is this? Ends. Just slip them up through the I-cord and good to go. So weaving in ends is super easy. So this is what I've got so far. And I don't know who the yarns are because they're just in my bag of minis. But I cast on with just a dark gray, just as an edging because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I think this color here was a self-striping, and it actually worked really well in this design. I also think this one was self-striping because it was black and gray, and that little stripe of purple is from that skein, and I just got to it just as I was needing to change colors. But it's really nice. It was, you know, once I did a couple of repeats, then it's going a lot faster because each row you do something, but it's repeated, you know, throughout that row. You're repeating that pattern, and then I'm familiar with what row, like, oh yeah, that's the row that you do that with. So yeah, so the Vega Wrap, which is really basically a wide shawl, and I'll probably wear, or not a shawl, scarf. It's like a wide scarf. I worked today. My brain's a little fried. So, you know, to block out a little wider, but I'll probably wear it as a scarf, like when I go for a walk and stuff like that. So, it's going to be really colorful, and it's going to be, I'm going to keep it with the jewel tones, so pinks and purples and that kind of thing. So some minis I have are a little more clowny, or no, that makes it sound bad. I don't know what you'd call it. They're a little more out there. Okay, I don't want to crinkle in your face. So let me just do it right here. So like this. This one won't go on it because it's not jewel tone. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be scrappy, but I'm also being selective because I think this would be like, whoa, what was that? I like the way this is looking by keeping it somewhat in a color family. And I love this little pop of these greens in here. Am I showing you the right? I'm showing you the wrong side. Golly. Okay, this is a much better side. Isn't that pretty? I think it's pretty. So it's been fun to work on. So far, I'm staying up with doing at least 1 row a day. I did start it before the 1st because I just wanted to make sure it was something that I felt like I could do. So I think I may have had these 2 colors done, and then I've done a color a day. No, that's more than that because today's only the 5th. I've done 9 days. I think some days I did more than 1. So haven't added today's yet. That's kind of what I do, like do that, and then I worked on the blanket, like at least get a row in. So Vega Wrap by Shara Made. Really nice, real pretty. I think it would be beautiful with like a gradient. That would be pretty. If you did a gradient and alternated the gradient with like a solid so that your solid stays and then your gradient goes through or something. That could be really pretty. Anyway, check it out. It's a good way to use those minis if you're getting minis by Advent or just because you've got really generous friends that love you. That's a good reason. It's coffee time. I have been making progress on my Go With The Flow by Marie Green. Sorry. The sun's starting to go down. Hopefully it's not getting too dark now. So Go With The Flow. Gosh, what time is it? It's only 3:30. Gets dark so darn early at this time of year. So Go With The Flow. DK weight, single color brioche cardigan type of thing. Still loving working on it. I have not gotten bored with it. It is the knit that I pick up when I just need to not pay attention to what my hands are doing so much, because whether it's because I'm watching something that I need to pay attention to or I'm just brain fried. But the last time I showed you was down at that Progress Keeper. So I've gotten quite a bit more done. I still have a little ways to go before it all looks the same, but you get it. So a ways to go before I bind off. I can't show you. How do I show you? Here we go. So I started going this way and then I added stitches and now I'm doing a bigger swatch, and then this gets to be a certain length and then you bind stuff off, and so then you're just doing a skinny part again. So what I'm knitting, this I think ends up being your back. I wasn't sure before, but it goes like this, I believe. And then I think, anyway, it goes like something. This was my colorway Fire in the Sky, which I talked about before last time, that I love. I still love it. I still really like this project. I have not gotten bored with it. I won't get any more stitches on than what I have, so I just have to just keep doing my thing. So I'm going to actually move my Progress Keeper before I forget, because that is kind of good incentive when you see like, oh, I have made progress, because it's all the same stitch. And there. So now, and we'll see where I get from there. Because it's all the same stitch. You're not changing anything. It could be considered boring, but I really do like boring knits sometimes because I just need them. So let me get that put away. So that's going smoothly. So I also had thought, I say so too many times. I have to try not to say that. I realize it when I edit. Like, okay, Carrie, you've said that too many times. I got the idea to do a pair of fingerless mitts because, here it is, because to just have something different. I do wear the mitts that I had shown, I think last time, with the striped ones. I wear those, but then it's like, well, sometimes I just want my little fingers out. It's easier to pick up the poop with the poop bag. So I went through my cupboard and I'm going to try them 2 at a time. So this is all the way through the cuff. I've started the next one. I'm going to go through the cuff and then I'm going to knit them 2 at a time. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put them both on the same needle and do them 2 at a time or do them consecutively on 2 different needles, because like I had shown before when I made my mitts, I end up with mitts that don't match exactly. Like they're just a little bit different and I want these to match. So what I did is I thought, well, you know what, worsted weight goes way faster. So I'm double stranding fingering weight. Okay, let me hold that so it doesn't cling. So I'm double stranding fingering weight yarn. They both have sparkle in them, glitter, sparkle, whatever. So this one was Dust in the Wind and Marvelous out of my shop. I think there's a skein of this left, but Marvelous is gone. My shop's going to close by next weekend, maybe even earlier. I don't know. There's not very much left in there, but if there's anything in there that you want, now's the time to get it because the shop's going to close. So if I'm doing 2 strands of fingering weight, which I'm treating as worsted, so I'm following the directions for worsted weight yarn. See, that's what gave me the idea of maybe doing them for work. I thought if they go fast enough, because it's worsted weight, I could just do that for the gals at work. But then I don't know what color, because I don't even know their last names, to let alone even know what colors they would like. I'll do it next year. So I am still following the Tin Can Knits pattern that is the world's simplest mitten. Boom. Free pattern on Ravelry. And I'm just not going to decrease for the finger, to close it up. I'm going to make them pretty long and do like pretty much my fingers all in ribbing. So it'll just kind of stay close, but do them pretty long so I can fold them back and have my fingers stick out more if I want, or I can kind of close them over my fingers and then still be able to do what I need to do. So I'm trying it out. I'm going to try that idea. So I kind of got the idea of doing the longer kind of ribbed hand part from Caroline of Knitting Vicariously. She's a new to me podcast. She's pretty new. She has 10 episodes up or something. She's adorable and I really like her. So I'm almost caught. I got caught up and now she's put out another episode. She's also put out some Vlogmas, but I don't watch Vlogmases. So Knitting Vicariously, she's Dunder Knits on Instagram and she's pretty funny and swear friendly podcast. So if you're offended by swearing, don't go visit her, but she's got some good information. She knits a lot of sweaters and buys beautiful yarn. So she's really fun. So she had made some mitts that she had made really long with ribbing here, but didn't close up the fingertips. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try and do that. So that's what that's going to become. Another podcast, and I keep forgetting to mention it because I don't write it down. And then I forget that I want to talk about it until I go to edit. And I'm like, oh, crap, I never said that. But Corey Eigelberger, who is I Rock Knits, and she's the one that co-wrote Minnesota 52, the Minnesota 52 book, which I have. I'll just put a picture. She started doing a podcast. She's got a lot of really good information. She'll talk about different sweater knitting techniques and why things go one way as opposed to another. So she's really informative. So I really like hers. And so between hers and Knitting Vicariously, those are 2 newer ones to me. And so I'm trying to get caught up. It's a little easier. I thought it was a little easier to get caught up because everybody does these Vlogmases and I'm not really that interested in watching you pour your cup of coffee. So I don't usually watch those. But now it's like all of a sudden my favorites have uploaded. So Chevy Rail's got a new one. Fiber Hustle just had a new one. You guys have got to watch them. The beginning had me just cracking up. And they did a challenge. They challenged each other. This is Fiber Hustle on YouTube. It's Aaron and Chip. And they challenged each other to have an hour to make something Christmassy, something crafty Christmassy. So they set the timer and went down and went through the craft stuff, and you had an hour to make something. And it was kind of fun to watch. They just showed little clips and you can kind of see what they came up with. But I find them very entertaining. So I highly recommend them as well. So they've got a new one. I just watched this morning. I watched the Naughty Knitwits because they're always good. In the beginning, I'm just laughing. Oh my gosh. Those girls. I get to see them next weekend. Who else is new? I think that's it. Is there anything on TV? Oh, The Marvelous Miss Maisel just started a new season. I loved the first season. So the second season just started. It's on Amazon Prime. I watched the first episode. They've kind of gone a little bit of a different direction, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do with it. But it's so well written, so brilliant, and it's colorful. And I love the color that the main character dresses in. It's the combination of colors is just beautiful. Very well shot, very well written. Highly recommend that. I'm almost finished reading the last book that I read. I've been reading the Lunar Chronicles. So it was Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and then now I'm on Winter. And it's a YA format, but kind of sci-fi. Well, kind of. It is sci-fi because they travel to space and they're cyborgs. So it's not kind of sci-fi. It is, but it's not like technical sci-fi. Just happens to take place in space. But what I've loved, I really enjoyed this series. And what I've loved about them is each character is based off of a like fantasy character. So the first book is Cinder, roughly the story is like Cinderella. And then Scarlet, roughly based on Little Red Riding Hood. And go in. So if you want to read them, you should read. I'm not going to tell you all of it because it's like, ooh, who's this going to be about? So I'm on the last one. I'm a little over halfway, so I'll be finishing up that soon. And then I got to find something to read after that. I don't know. I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm like on my list of I should read that. So I think that's all I've got for you today. It's a pretty short episode, just a little quick catch up. I hope you're all getting into the holiday spirit, however it is that you do that or whatever holiday you celebrate, and try and stay stress-free if you can. It can be a really trying time. It can be difficult for some people, and I hope that you know and find a way to get through it and make the best out of it that you can. Let me see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to record before Christmas because I need to get ready for Christmas. But I'm going to assume that I'm not, and I'll record after the new year. So I might surprise you, but don't count on it. So if I don't record, I hope you all have a good holiday. Thank you so much for being here. Spread the love. Happy holidays. I'll talk to you later.